Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Carmelo Anthony believes window for Lakers to trade LeBron James has closed. One could argue that the Los Angeles Lakers front office and specifically general manager Rob Pelinka have not given LeBron James and Anthony Davis ample opportunities to contend for championships in recent years. Obviously the duo won a title in their first season together in 2020, but there have been plenty of struggles since then, headlined by the Russell Westbrook trade that went down during the 2021 offseason. That ended up setting LA back a season and a half, particularly with James wasting an All-NBA season in 2021-22 when the Lakers didn't even make the playoffs. Given the Lakers' failure to construct a championship-contending team the last 3 seasons, there was speculation surrounding whether the 39-year-old would request a trade for the first time in his career. James' former teammate and close friend Carmelo Anthony believed there was a possibility of that happening after the 2023-24 season, but that window is now shut, via 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. LeBron makes the trades, so if he wants to get traded, he'll get traded. I think that window closed shut. Like it was a point in time, maybe last year or little bit of time ago, where it was like, there was a thought that damn, this could be possibility. Jonathan, Kuminga part of that trade now is a big headline. Right? Because he's a major piece. With trade season unofficially kicking off on December 15th, there is cautious optimism that Pelinka will ultimately find a deal or two to improve the roster. However, that was the anticipation last trade deadline and this past offseason, and no moves were made. Should the Lakers sit out another transaction period, things could get dicey. Having Davis and James as the foundation and opting not to make any deals to improve the roster could feel like a slap in the face to the championship duo. Ultimately, the 4-time champion decides on his future by having a no-trade clause. But, if this team remains the same after February 6, serious conversations need to be on where this partnership is going moving forward. LeBron James humbled to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for most minutes in NBA history. Now that LeBron James is in his 22nd season, there is not much left for the star to accomplish. Each additional year that James plays is another testament to his work ethic and ability to stay in game shape. On Thursday, the all-time leading scorer surpassed Lakers legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most minutes in NBA history. James shared that he is humbled to pass Abdul-Jabbar and also discussed what this record meant to him. Los Angeles Lakers head coach J.J. Redick spent several years following his playing career building credibility as a broadcaster and podcaster, mastering the art of the hot take along the way. Redick clearly hasn't lost his touch, as the rookie leader on the Lakers sideline took the league to task in public fashion this week, ripping the NBA and his former peer group for doing a poor job selling the product to the American public and abroad. I don't think we have done a good job of storytelling, of celebrating the game. If I'm a casual fan and you tell me every time I turn on the television that the product sucks, well, I'm not going to watch the product, Redick said on Thursday, December 19, per The Athletic. And that's really what has happened over the last 10 to 15 years. I don't know why. It's not funny to me. The issue that spurred Redick to chime in involves the sports ratings, particularly during the regular season. There are a handful of issues that critics of the NBA's drop in popularity have floated as among the primary factors for the shift in viewership. Too many regular season games. Too much load management on behalf of the league's superstars. The fragmentation of the product delivery system from major networks exclusively to include streaming services. The rise in tendency of young fans to consume highlights on social media and other internet sources rather than watching games in their entirety. Political factors stemming from the NBA's and many of its players' stances on social justice issues. Redick's criticism of the NBA's broadcast partners and their rhetoric is relatively new and a less popular critique than some of the others. The same is true for the most recent complaint from Lakers star LeBron James, who also addressed the issue on Thursday after reporters asked for his take on the coming changes to the All-Star game. "It's our game in general," James said ahead of a road contest against the Sacramento Kings. "There's a lot of threes being shot. So it's a bigger conversation than just the All-Star game." It doesn't help that the NFL, already the ratings king of not just sports, but essentially all US-based programming, has taken aim at the NBA in a more direct way in recent years. Case in point, Christmas Day belonged to professional basketball for years. As the league has done for a long time, the NBA will air 5 matchups on Wednesday, December 25th. However, the NFL will be in action as well. That league reached a deal with streaming giant Netflix to run 2 regular season contests over the holiday. The Pittsburgh Steelers will host the Kansas City Chiefs in the early game, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, while the Baltimore Ravens will travel south to play the Houston Texans in the late contest, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Sports fans will have football options from noon to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Christmas, a time slot that will overlap with the first 3 games of the NBA's slate. The only 2 games that won't be affected, other than by potential sports fatigue as the afternoon gives way to evening, are the Lakers against the Golden State Warriors in San Francisco, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and the Phoenix Suns hosting the Denver Nuggets in Arizona, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Lakers are reportedly interested in trading for Wizards guard. Although the Los Angeles Lakers have recently found a groove, they are still in need of a couple of upgrades in order to legitimately compete for an NBA championship. The Lakers stood pat in the offseason and allowed free agents and trade targets to go to other destinations, but the league is more open to trading now that more players have become available. According to several reports, Los Angeles is in the market for a traditional big man to play either alongside or behind Anthony Davis, though it also could use a more dynamic guard and a wing player for defense. With multiple needs, it's no surprise that the Lakers have been linked to numerous names on the trade market. One logical trade partner is the Washington Wizards, who should have no interest in winning games and instead focus on tanking for a chance at the number 1 overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft. It appears that Los Angeles has already begun to ask Washington about some of its players. The Lakers have recently inquired on Malcom Brogdon in trade talks with the Wizards. Los Angeles is a team to watch potentially acquiring both Brogdon and Jonas Valanciunas from Washington, Evan Sidery of Forbes wrote on X. The Lakers have recently inquired on Malcom Brogdon in trade talks with the Wizards. Los Angeles is a team to watch potentially acquiring both Brogdon and Jonas Valanciunas from Washington. Brogdon would fit the need as a steady scorer and playmaker, and if the Lakers can also land Valanciunas, that would be a huge help. It remains to be seen if the teams can pull off a deal, but this sort of trade makes sense for both sides. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Malcom Brogdon? Leave your opinion in the comments.